talk a little bit about your work on Fernald, how long you were there for, what kind of work did you do out in Fernald?
Sure. I started in Fernald, Ohio in August of 1994. And I was there a couple different times. The first time, like I said, August of 1994 to January of 1995. And then I went back let's see here, I went back in September of 95, then concluded in January of 1996. And I was a supervisor, actual cement mason. That's the union I belong to, of course. And actually sent there to help another contractor because they weren't familiar with this epoxy type of product they were trying to apply. So I went there and basically used my expertise on the installation, showed them how things were supposed to be working, how the product worked, how you put it down, applied it, surface preparation, kind of a turnkey thing, because my company wound up actually taking over the contract from the company that I was there to help. So they were behind in the schedule and what they were doing. So I took it over, used their existing personnel and brought in my own people that work with me exclusively. And that's what we did. We just finished up a lot of concrete work, topping over concrete, a lot of sandblasting, surface prep, the grinding, that type of thing. I think I found one old picture of an office building or my desk area. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Did you work out on any other Department of Energy sites?
Well, see, that's just it. Yeah, once I started kind of looking at that list, right? And a lot of these names kind of changed from the time that I was there. I started actually working right out of high school, actually in high school, with my father. He was a superintendent. So traveled throughout the United States, and we worked at in Paducah, Kentucky at BF Goodrich. Did work for I think it was Bresh Wellman out in Delta, Utah. Did some work again in Ashtabula, Ohio. I think then it was called Allied Chemical or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. Worked at the Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Did some work there. Where else? You name it, I've been there. I've done work in every state except for about 4 up in the Northeast. Done work Canada, Puerto Rico, Italy, Ireland. So I kind of traveled a lot around my whole career. So, and a lot of hazardous environment work. I mean, that was just it. So
How do you feel work out on Fernald and these other Department of Energy facilities affected your health?
well, I think what I've learned, my father in his career worked around, a lot of chemicals. He wound up with asbestosis, died of small cell cancer. And again, these facilities are really kind of dangerous. I mean, when you go into their environment, and a lot of times they try to give you information going in. I mean, everybody does kind of a health, introduction to the facility you're working in and try to make you aware of the hazards, that you're going to be exposed to, just like they did it for Fernald. I mean, I think we took about a 40-hour course there before we even stepped foot, inside the plant. So there's a lot of exposure in these facilities that you find out that people don't even think about, whether they're just lying around in a dust form, right? And a wind stirs something up, or a liquid form. Could be acid, mercury. I've been around mercury, in some of these facilities. So, it's just what they tried to provide you with the information. But it's like anything else. When you're the guy doing the work on the I want to say end result of what you're doing, a lot of times things happen during the course and the process that you're not really prepared for. really, my health while working there seemed to be fine until it wasn't, right? You're okay until you're not. And I noticed little things like, I get frequent bronchitis, right? And it take a little, well, not a little, but it take a long time to get rid of, to throw that off. I had constant fatigue, a little bit tired all the time. And then I had difficulty going up and down the stairs. And so this was kind of progression of things for me. What prompted me to participate in the BTMed medical. And then how did I hear about the program? They contacted me, if I remember correctly. I think I got a phone call, gentleman by the name of Andrew, I think, and did a little survey with him and talked about my work history. And then I think I received some stuff through the mail telling me about this program. So I figured, what the heck, it's a free medical evaluation, a physical. Why not go and do it? So I started doing that, and just continued up to the present day. And it's been very beneficial for me as far as I'm concerned. I was diagnosed with COPD. So, that's what I have. That's why, the frequent bronchitis, fatigue, walking up the stairs, and losing kind of breath, that kind of thing. So that's what I was diagnosed with, even from my pulmonologist. So they both kind of concurred, with their findings. And so that's where we were at with it.
So what was your experience filing with the Department of Labor and getting approved in the compensation program?
Well, when I first filed the claim, it was exhausting. I mean, it really was. I started my claim August the 14th of 2019 and was finally approved on July the 26th, 2022. And I did everything. I didn't hire an attorney. I just did it myself. I've got a couple of those file boxes just full of correspondence going back and forth, with being denied, and then reconsideration, and being on the phone, with an adjudicator, and that whole process. A lot of times, I felt like I was, just giving up. It's just too much of a process, right? But then I would call the people there at the BTM medical, and they would give me, reassurances, right? And tell me, hey, it's a long process. It's not going to be over, really quick. A lot of questions that I had, they were there to provide the answers for me, so I could continue this process. And all the people that I talked to, whether it was Janet or Janine, even Andrew, I'm trying to think of some of the other people that were there. I think Mary helped me. The biggest help of all that I think really saved my case was Dr. Marianne Clorian, if I'm pronouncing her name right. I mean, she wrote several letters on my behalf. She basically helped me with some contract. Let me see what we have here. DOE's contract medical consultant. And then they had another one, a contract certified industrial hygienist, she basically provided evidence to kind of debunk what they were saying about my condition. And like I said, I can't praise her enough for her help, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think the end result would have been me getting approved. I really don't. If there's anybody out there, former workers, at the DOE sites, any of those guys, construction workers, and this becomes available to them, without hesitation, I'm going to tell you, go ahead and get your physical. Stay up on it. They've been giving me CT scans, for past, I don't know, 7 years maybe. This past year, I had to go every 3 months. There's just something going on with my lungs still. But anyway, I would say that in the end result being approved, this is what they don't tell you, that keep your receipts. Anything that you do, keep your receipts. And I'm good at doing that anyway. You know, I'm just keep receipts. I was able to go back and get my medication that I had paid for, you know, and this involves a few $1,000s. All right. And now that I've been accepted, you know, I've got a medication and inhaler that costs $750 a month. Well, that's being paid for, you know, so there's something to be said, you know, for this program. And like I said, I wasn't even aware of it, but somehow through the grace of God, I was contacted and, you know, and went, you know, from start to finish with it and was approved. So that's kind of where I'm at with my story.